abusia brai mani na enne me no betwehwe nkomo bi e wa ha da bia me ka say rent control department rent commissioner na abaye yi no onim rent laws no wa kan ba bibi ana say wa ready ba bibi but opese ya o mamra no yete say emra no de ono no kan na e na ye mra eti emprempi no opre no kan nsem bi a me hunu say ase onhwe mra nu na question person bi say rent control omo lawyer sana ana say rent commissioner no obi adi mra no nkoma kire no wawura mra no mu ye wakan mu ye waji interpretation ana say meaning to the mra no ade ba kwan ya ro kan say brofo ne ye troye enti nka mu nchekire mu no nya de a ese say eye ne den kra na mesrew empre ho emme commenti twen tie video na me ye no tie nsem na me ka no na say o researcher wan kasa so ye research e wo de me ka no ho before I will comment on my video na say enye sa na o de emotions e be comment on my video ase a e be ha me ye pa na e be me ya medu hu ya bebre de me pese me kan say rent commissioner why video e na wabobo hostel din say ono omo be fe so na odo omo be court na omo close down the hostel. Is that what the law says? That's the rent laws no eka say so obi to ni dan buo mu a na say Ghana ban ne nya adwen rent control ne nya adwen a yetimi close ni pa ne fie na na e dey na mranika because there is offenses in the act and there is punishment to those offenses. It me when say rent commissioner and nsem na ya oka no sometimes no I say on transmission mranu mu enwene hu yansa wa ba betena bonte akasa and he is doing a lot of PR rather than a juma na yede ahye nsa no because coming to mention the name of the hostel on the internet was needless and unnecessary. When your hostel now write to them, why your investigation when your facts are write to them and take them to court. And your social media so and your babu hostel ding. Now me hostel for the they should take this man on because oh good money must say. The man doesn't have any evidence. What is what who boom on your assessment and who said one what to no or assessment a babroso and I bear sa and a wababo ding a woman must say. Ono wunhia and waba udin se sa na asem ne tie dia hostels no mosomun tu ho anamo na mun take action because this man okumani mase without following the law and he say a lot of things which is out of the law. Na mummy entie ni video no emra ye tie ni video no ba dia me welcome meka.
I can report to you that I have in my hands today a list of hostels in other parts of this country who have decided to defy the directive. I received this notice and list from the same nooks who petitioned me and have said, on this note, I would like to mention and put them out, which on Monday, a state...
What was a man who saw a bomba? Note at petition. Dear Namranica, what does the rent law says? Media say some nude in the buy and say no cray, saying no cray. You are working with them, so who trust you? So you are not going to do any investigation. What the hostels needing, which is very wrong. And so opinion, and so opinion in the year. What do you mean?
Document will be issued, and these names will be published. And any of them who is found to be part of this list will face the full rigors of the law. And that will not come with any favor because clearly people have agreed, others have agreed to go with the rent control. Others who believe that the law cannot work have also defied that directive. And these are the lists. If you know any hostel.
You see, one of the things I say is to say, rent control ni hu kwan say on my directive to hostels. Rent control emre bia man kwan say rent commission be wonu to me say obeka kire hostel say man to bom say rent control betimi ayesa say rent commissioner at the court not rent magistrate issue that the rent commissioner himself emre be bia ni ho a okay say the rent commissioner can actually freeze rent increment enimra ni it is ma mu tiem so bom din hostels na bom din no ma mu fi no mo so mo fam lawyers and face this man squarely emra ni nya adwuma na nya adwuma in its fairness. Some I am from so I'm running ni some I am from so most money ni ye pa because and was here and all the hostels no
or any hostel management team whose name appears here, give him that call that his name has come to the table of the rent control department, and he's ready. He should be ready to face us. Number one, we have Badua Memorial Hostel, UCC. Casadi Road, UCC. Metro Plus Hostel, UCC. Prof. Nicodemus Hostel, UCC. France Hostel, that is Ayensu, UCC. Solo Lodge Hostel, UCC. AKB Hostel, Ayensu, UCC. Favor of God. Then we have Royal Palace, Amamoma, UCC. We have Param Hats Hostel, UCC. Ajapa UCC. ENT Hostel. Then we have Stena Hostel, UCC. Nabet Hostel, UCC. True Excellence Hostel, School Bus Road behind Executive Hostel. You know who you are. We have Sami Otu Hostel Annex, UCC. We have Ofebia Hostel. That I did not see where I will just find it out. Jeffrey Hostel, Central University. Look, Jeffrey Hostel, on this sheet, you are currently charging 6,000, and you have indicated that you are increasing to 14,000, more than 100%, from 6,000 to 14,000. For you say you will never respect the laws of the Republic, right? Then wait for us. We are coming.
Which law is the rent commissioner saying? Because a rent commissioner so on freeze rent increment. Of course, landlord the need so only complain follow complain there is laid down rules and regulation about how to go about these things. And to rent commissioner, so directive, you don't even have the legal right, the legal mandate to give a directive to hostel owners, and you're legally banned. And to some country say, so because in this scenario, no hostel rate increasing the board. Say nipa na okwaje which is the tenant or student tenant here. There is a way, legal documented way. I no na yemra no. The rent commissioner can hear no na yemra no. Ono rent commissioner need to me bia so freeze rent. Mummy entie.
Nuno's Heights, UCC. Peace Hostel, Ayensu, UCC. KG Hostel, Buadi, KNUST. We have Manjef Hostel. We have Crystal Palace, Ahonjo. We have Flint Hostel, KNUST. We have Yahuda Hostel, Ayensu, Ayidiase, KNUST. We have Kote Hostel, KNUST. We have Hilton Hostel, KNUST. We have Franco Students Hostel, Ayidiase, KNUST. Then we have Step by Step Hostel, Ayidiase, KNUST. These are the list of 30 hostels who, as I speak today, have decided to be filed. The caution that I can give you is that if you have made an attempt, quickly withdraw your statement. That's the advice I'll give you. You see, hostels for Mutie, me some more share me life, and I some more share me channel any video, yeah. Ma obian withdraw any statement of the increments. Because the law now, rent commissioner can anyhow. The rent commissioner does not have the right, the law backing to give a directive say freeze your rent and increase your rent. Only said to me no. There is no law. The rent commissioner no only go to the section of the 1963 Rent Act or the 1986 Rent Control Law no. Baby Potian Okase, rent commissioner no have that right to tell hostel owners not to increase their rent. So team decide in the bar.
then you so case. But until then, for me first get in there, Monto Mrebia Mamatone say you didn't go to the rent control for them to do a rent recovery assessment, you know, which is the rent advance on the yes, original. One call a more man yeah assessment now. That is the only mrawato. Benoka home punishment, Benoka home punishment. So we will look into all these things in this video. Say rent commissioner can say no man directive unti and what bunny directives are increase here to the directive not to training. He doesn't have that power, that right to give a directive to freeze rent increment. Only mrano any constitution will be any rent act will be as a rent commissioner. I was to me no.
But so long and so far as it remains on my table, then you should understand that I'm coming after you. And this time round, no favor. In fact, I have actually sent this list to the Ghana Tourism Authority to verify, for me to see if you are indeed even registered before I start. But what besides any one of you who haven't even registered with Ghana Tourism Authority, you will be closed down. That I can assure you. It does not matter your.
No, Ghana Tourism Authority, Ghana Tourism Authority, and almost so many workers. Are you trying to undermine their authority? Are you trying to undermine their work? My way, only your own. Only your I think that he doesn't really know the job. And it's true because the constitution does not say anything about the function of the rent commissioner. Anything I can because it's the constitution have given him the responsibility in the functions. Said the Odiama appropriate rent officer, so the Odiama rent magistrate, any minister now, and come on transfer the Oye. Tomorrow the women contingency
pedigree or who you think you are, you will be closed down. So long and so far as you defy the rules. This is the announcement I have for you. But on Monday, trust you, we're going to have, or I'm going to issue a press statement to publish these names before I come after you. Definitely, I'll come after you, and you know. But this time round, it's going to be serious attempts.
Information, and something you could have. But may I show hostel owners and say, rent commissioner cannot come after you, Emra Ghana. It's also a boomeraswa, or also rent commissioner in Timmy Famra and Shen Sem. And Timmy Famra and Shen Sem. Let's go into this particular thing. You see, the first point I'm making in this video is say there is no law in Ghana that says that the rent commissioner have the legal power and the legal backing to close down hostels. Only said to me, no. The only people who can close down the hostels in terms of their duty hostel. Of course, you close down now. You can still rent out your place, not as a hostel, but as a building or renting as a landlord. The only thing is a hostel, no, it's a hotel. Any Airbnb, you have to register with the Ghana Tourism Authority. But so you register with the Ghana Tourism Authority, then you can call yourself hostel. And she said, one from who hostel. Now what's you done? You don't need the Ghana Tourism Authority to even come in. Let's say, Omunina hostel, registered hostel. Who can come in and manage them? Ghana Tourism Authority. And a bit now what down. On the crown cross down, obey, taking the name hostel nephew. Because the mimi see me dying. Nasa me be me dance me de ma han na man ka say hostel na me de me dan ma han na student e ben me no mo ka so ba me dan na fiewura na I have the right to rent out my for whoever comes, whether the person is the student, he is a public worker, he is a security worker, he is an informal worker. It doesn't really matter. Nipa ne ba me as me dan must meet the ma han. And so if these institutions now they are not registered as legal hostels there, then they have issues with the Minister of Tourism for operating as a hostel. But if they don't have any document access to they are operating as a hostel, now you dine on more scene or they behind and among behind or maba behind. The rent commissioner cannot close down these institutions or body, you know. Mamun so rent commissioner no only to me be so be close to down. Mo fashion mutimu sa na mo mam rani nya aduma e wo Ghana. Now, mami no nkom na me nkyerɛw the power of the rent control. And the rent commissioner no. The rent control department especially the appropriate rent officers. One, or say who investigate landlord and not tenant. Wabra omanya complain. So in this scenario, in this video, what the rent commissioner is doing, you know, and you complain near their man, nude, aman complain, and or court talk, and now man complain says you they've increased the price. Now, main point in say the fact that making announcement directive say they should not increase the price. No, that doesn't hold because the rent commissioner doesn't have that legal power to tell landlords to not to increase their rent. Ultimately, can't tell landlord say won't me increase your rent. Only law landlord na buso this scenario they say landlord now apply to rent control for the rent assessment. And no there and also home punishment which I will talk to you about some of the punishment. Now the next thing they can do is say they mediate dispute. Tenant and landlord any problem. Now match mummy no aba. Now if they don't can some reservoir sem. Now they have to also be able to register tenants where required. It is over more now no be media. So your landlord now a tenant no or mutimi edu details. Ewo e call mo nkrata so. Say what about say. And then access to facility for assessment of recoverable rent in case that is provided by the law. And so say obi be complain say sika na wo gene no so. Na say omo person mu say increment here say rent commissioner gina so a or tie mu aka say ono omo ni wo mu bedi no. The main thing I omo yen say the omo nyan e complain. The rent commissioner nyan no e complain. So he appoints appropriate rent officers. Omo constitution ho no money institution for no no money rent assessment for the recoverable rent and say recoverable rent. Yes. On we say assessment in here. Assessment in be say hostel no and I say dan no nipa na gi sempoa and na ogigi tragu. Say ultimately establish that point in here. E ho na be hu say increment in landlord na increase no wato mra and na is within the law. So when you assessment now, you have no right to even publish their names. As a rent commissioner, you don't have that right. Obineri complain about do your investigation before you even do this kind of video you are doing. It means that for you to come out after complain and say this means that you don't know the law. Because only you do your investigation, you don't shame the person, you don't publicly mention the person's name to tarnish the person's image before you go and do the investigation and get your evidence. And yes, I'm here. Now, so recover rent assessment now. But as he speak, it means that he has not even contacted the hostels. He doesn't even know where so most of the hostels are. And only to even establish that complaining now, student their brain no, a complainer valid. And that is one of the most shameful statements of TV Swaka. For somebody, one part to bring you evidence and say this, and without doing investigation, come out publicly and do this video. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't befit you as a leader. Because rent commissioner, you are not only leader for the tenant, you are leader for both landlord and tenant, and we will need to be able to respect and understand that as a rent commissioner. Now, one of the duty rent control department say they educate landlords and tenants. How many education have the rent control done? How many? PR job on Kwana commissioner by why? Only education by kumpo to be able to blame landlords and tenants. Fee said 1963 on the buy, when in Ghana here, have they established a forum, a training session for landlords, for tenants, for them to understand this law? Yeah, be that. But you munti them me can you. And yes, all your tenants and also about school munti, over general account with emotions. Let's talk the facts. Now you discuss here, didn't you? And punto baba, and the solutions baba. Now, say rent control has some way in our year. Now, and make our investigation. Why assessment? No, say hostels. No, Sikana or Mojano, no cre. ABI sank or Moji 4,000 and or Moji 10,000 and to move students in 6,000. Then they have the right to prepare that hostel to court. They don't even have to come to social media. So they prosecute offenses where the law creates an offense. And to him, baby, I'm not say we see a better say we see a better say no. So the rent control, the act, it gives significant decision making power to only the rent magistrate, that is the court. On these powers on farmer rent commissioner. So the rent control, the power to prosecute, agent rent magistrate himself, which is the court of law. It will mention in Sosa, so that this man on to because all creating unnecessary fear and panic and problems in something that could be solved easily. Or he is exaggerating many, and it doesn't make sense for that PR. Now, so who examine the Rent Act 1963 at 220 and answer the Rent Control Law 1986, PNDCL Law 138 now. But PNDCL or my rent commissioner coin, and I say even rent control coin, so much near Krokurusu or big Danya or Dinisikasi. There is no provision that gives the rent control that power to seal a property, to lock the premises, to suspend operation of an hostel or to even shut down the hostel completely. Only start to me no, or because the hostel nebo. Only start to me no. If the hostel for mama panic, get a lawyer and understand what is happening, and then get to know the law. Now who the obey? Because my way the lawyer no far bebre no enyamra and on mo kano. Now sir, UGD said the medical kano. The rent control no, first of all, this is the step as a rent commissioner. Time on your complaining no. Time new and I send student add information in blend no. Time on na just obey two and more ama tenants no. This is the things that he would have done and not come to the media. First one was receive the complaint. 1. 2. Investigate that complaint na no. Following the law. Now they are investigating no any evidence. Now once you have evidence, then you can now direct those parties for the next process, which is the lawful procedures. And no bet me the hostel. And now say the tenant no akọ court. It will court now first instance you will be a prosecutor, and then later the court will appoint a proper prosecutor to take over the case. Now court also an investigation. So the matter no it ends where rent control for ending where they refer the issue at hand. After the investigation and they have evidence, when they refer it to court, there can hear the rent magistrate and rent court no to sign the rest of the issues. It's all the investigation. Now, of the Mahamran say, no crescent pano otiamra na and I went tiamra. Because there are instances and cases bebra, aqua courtois, tenant and landlord no, yet dear landlord no for rent increment. You will be also yet dear tenant no said landlord nentiso. Now you can say tenant in the chase car, your landlord never found the difference no at the man. And so in this instance, say Sikana hostels national, say rent control commissioner will just appear at Jumano no in a year. The best say, your investigation. Recoverable rent no na ye determine say any the original any the actual recoverable rent no e pa na say ono the original bro so say the original bro so a court betimi ahye no say difference no on share back to the student as simple as that. When you make close to hostel, when you issue bia this issue can issue as a rent commissioner no onante so involve the Ghana Tourism Authority. It doesn't make sense. They also have their whole media. They also have their laws. Omodi ye omaduma. It's a bit more said the word you say a law mlano, which is the rent act no, and yes I don't apply all. Maybe if you come say the increment in the rent rate no for students no, which is for the hostels no, and yet tourism authority and and count muduma die ho. And so from so mumra mehwe no mba student nyama so mo hwe no bibia pepepe na rent no wo so da. They can't do anything about it because by law e bia na nya omaduma. I have not looked into that law. That's why I don't want to comment on that law, baby. But I'm just doing an assumption here. Say, be better as here. Eti ade na wundi ule na wunya wo dia mra na sha wo say ye. Na wunja dia kan ma omo so so mo yo wo de. Renters enye waduma. Ghana Revenue Authority wo ho. And say Ghana Revenue Authority, they have their own mechanism of how they do their things. You don't have to involve yourself with them. As simple as that. Oh, the mra ndem mo dia mam. Munni mo dia so mo make sure say mo ye mo dia pepepe. Oh, how ne saying. Hwe mra no mu kra na wo hu. Say utu obi afiri ufie utu obi afiri udem and all recover possession and any other thing bia no obi ani hu kwan Ghana even landlord now no di sikasi na kwan new kwan say otu tenant film this was court. And so how can you the rent committee say we are going to close down the hostel? Can you? Do you think you have that power? Who say power hu ko rent act nim but bia no rent commissioner who you functions who ni function mrana da on who ni function gom. You are just a celebrated leader, and I think that's one of the sad things. And Timrana says Minister of Housing Special Mukosi Sano or list the responsibility and the roles of the rent commissioner because and yes idea obey useless say na afedie or your PR job and yet it doesn't make sense. I don't want to follow Mrano no jam yes munye no nipa obu Mrano so na the PR person obey PR job bekansem and more tenants so money aje money aji say or kasa ma tenant bla on kasa ma obi o de mra na chenya na oye. And so at the end of the day no so ono kra ti agro na from won the animu na de oye na nya mra e mra ni bedi. So the rent commissioner don't have the power so the for mutie to close any hostel legally. Only option bia to tell any hostel owner not to increase their rent or he's going to close them down. And to say mutie na hostel for no we session we e mo dia. You can do a judicial review. You can seek a judicial review. Now, suppose the way more seek for judicial review now. The amu betimi aye first. And mran betimi akwa whereby a bear contravention that is outside the power given by the law. Until mrano the ese rent commissioner so onye no enye no na oye nti court betimi aka say based on that nti the oye no illegal irreasonable and I say a breach of natural justice. Now say ban is court betimi grant them remedies, and these are some of the remedies court betimi dey ma hostel facility for no. One, certiorari, which is question the decision. In some BR rent commission can you court bogu cause oni sa kwan say yes anema no. And then prohibitions. You betimi prohibiting from making further unlawful actions. Go so away no. E ma be say hey, enye wo mra enye wadwuma o. What ye anyway enti jai na obi so nya ne de na ye wo de enkodidi nkobru obi diem. The court will tell him there's also one thing called the by mandamus. So the mandamus can compel lawful performance where appropriate. Na mra na hye say enye ono na sede say obaka tell landlord say money increase in rent. Enti on fa nko na rent magistrate na e na dwuma no onye na on fa san hye no ento hostel owners ne so. Na finally kra no ye betimi declare na asem no any action say unlawful na mra no ni na di say dey say nti so no pese mra no mu di a munka hu say musom wo akwanya wo mra no mu say musom betimi ama mra no ni na di. Now say munya sa akwanya na the next thing say mu betimi akọ court akọ injunction dey ato eniema rent commission ye ni nyina so because most of them are not lawful. It's not backed by law. Only 2 minutes away sa eniema no eti mu betimi akọ interim injunction dey ato so. Now, following that interim injunction, there could also be perpetual injunction. A best stop from doing a nearma the constitution doesn't give him, and the law doesn't give him the right to do. Now, Matimia Moduma, no Mosmato, now Marana Yaduma said yes. And Timesre, landlord no, 8 me mumrana so. Now, all my yajin say, or no dimraso. And never duma, and never duma. Yet, dear Marana say, ye, Najai, the Akanama, one as on so, no, so no more. Until the mrana chile no and then I'm account video we no you need to receive the complaint, do your investigation, do the recoverable rent assessment and determine say no cre into munu and yana kwan so before you come out and even do a press release. So that's how it's supposed to be. And ya wo the obeka rent commissioner no you don't have that power to make it look like the law is you. You are not the law. The law is there. It was written 63 some 60 years ago back. Enti nyawo na my look as if say yeah they are born yentimi nkenkan. You talk as if there's no lawyers in Ghana here and the law no kwan utrimu na wo. What are you saying? This document is everywhere and you talk as if law no obi hunu. What you are saying is say they all can nimra dum. Now last thing hostel for say or for someone ekrosum hostel ni down you can sue him for loss of rental income. Mo betimi sue no. How be hostel owners mu dokomu no. Mutimi sue rent control and the rent commissioner for that damages not to recover your damages. So mun share so na mun say mine no no kwan enimu mra no kwan so na tigana ha and no kwan e na all fight for the rent nti so fight on fight no kwampa so now ye wo mra wo ho ene niema say wo landlord no ana hostel owners no say no kwese o mabu emra no so e na o magye sika tichiri dia ye betimi edi adi wo mu. And I've mentioned some of them. Some of them is the maximum my refund to the student. And according to even the law, no, I will come there. Except punishment I am farmer, and so all the punishment are in the law as well. Now the bit maya to hostel nimu a public health concern, fire safety, structure safety, building regulation errors, environmental protection, and a planning laws. These laws and at these things any bit me gina so at hostel ni say hostel no doesn't deserve. And I believe say the Ghana Tourism Authority follow all these things. So you buy say fire safety precautions, healthy wise the place is there, structure you see that any say emu nipa so nkum nipa. These are the things that you gina so eka say you to hostel ni mu. And so Minister of Tourism Emma Omoba na hostel na to ni buma that may not may share but I know say the increment in rent instead of see that might not be a reason to close down the place. No reason either they make it health, public health concern, fire safety concern, structural safety concern, building regulation concern, environmental protection concern, and then planning laws. I hold a board said the CC Adan Ghana how. And no pet and no waiting I say every other copious was yes in Zoom and I was seen here cement and comb and so therefore you're close to. But rent commission to me say ya to bonu e kosorinti ye close enye adwuma enti me pa chaw say hostel owners mo hwe video ina mo saka me video ya mesre say mamu mo hu get a lawyer, please get a lawyer. Equally, you can also join the landlord association. That's the voice of the landlord association. Kuya yaka hobum the whole Ghana say obi a wasi dan ode ma han e de mani patinam accommodation. Ye de kika hobum na san sentem bi say no ye de mra na toto ba bi ese to na obi a ho ato no. Aha, nti mesre mamo mbo hu kra wo the noise this man is making, because at the end of the day no enko ba bia. Now, let's talk about the key punishment in the law. That's the offenses no. Any the when that person no or yes our offense now. Now I'm looking at the Rent Act 1963. Okay, section 25 now, and then the Casafa offenses home. And so we are one of some of the things I'm running share. See, bet media you be able to some rent mrano. Say he can be prosecuted. There could be a refund of assets of the rent, fine, punishment, and I say you bet me the court or tribunal for enforcement. But say automatically yaka so closing the dine there near Dumasa, yes, I'm renting ranete. And so the section 25 no Ukoma section 25 clause 1A, or say a person commit an offense if he demands or receive more than the recoverable rent assessed for you. And it's an SS investigation of one of the key things here is a rent control for your assessment. The S or the dine upon a genome, they are compared the original. Now I say, oh, Buni Panampa. Now, over section 25. Clause 1G now or say a landlord commit an offense if he eject a tenant for refusing to pay more than the recoverable rent. It's a be assessment and say as I said utia be 500 cedis and a period 90,000 or 1,000 usu untia and I also untia there o 2 emrawe emma fira no efom mra yetimi punish no but what you here now section 25A now punishment no punishment the womb so forms punishment the womb no or say fine not exceeding £100. £100 yeah bronyisi £100 not exceeding that, and I say imprisonment not exceeding 6 months or both. And I say about £200 and every more could 6 months and I say more in me yeah 2 host any musa. Now the other punishment a rent magistrate bit me under section 25 clause 2 no or say the rent magistrate may also order the landlord to pay back any excess rent received. It is sika ye tuama hostel owners na bros no sika ye tuama hostel owners na bros no court bit me ahye say tua omo difference na omo back after the rent assessment have been done. This is the right yes. And so also the issue I can want some no so rent section 25 the same section 25 clause 5 now say and also say demanding more than 1 month's rent advance for monthly tenancy or shorter tenancy, and now say demanding more than 6 months rent advance for tenancy exceeding or say more than 6 months advance for tenancy exceeding 6 months is an offense and punishable by fine not exceeding £100. Punishment nani? It's the OG scanable so. For the rent, I'm for good say, what is 6 months? The only thing I bet me and say, Ubetia £100. And I'm Ranica. It will until say best sacram ranimuno, landlord, and Trahoma rent commissioner, and for Mrana or one can yen because a Mrano said you can just hand it yet. Obom Mamunsro, say, oh, records, say, rent now, original, Sikana original. Within the recoverable rent range there and slow. So oh 14,000, 20,000 slow. Because when they come, they will do recovery rate assessment. And to mess around, I will do another video where I attend. I will do another video and I will teach you the things that you need to get. Documents on your tour, expenses and evidence on your tour, so that it will aid the recovery rent assessment. So mobile some recovery rent assessment now. I had a middle basic intimate hostel on a beer, don't panic, don't mind the rent commissioner. Me pacho, munya lawyer, monkofa lawyer. That's my advice. Call for lawyer. And then for those of you who can join the landlords association, come and join the landlord association. That is the most important thing as Mbe right now. That is the most important thing. And the big charge right now. Because be na wunimu mrano na afedi rent commissioner de mra bia enim akodu. And one say no kwan you or to train other agencies ebrem. Nti wunya lawyer be boa pa. E ha na me do si me the brayima. Mesra say we landlord join the landlord association. With me visit ghlandlords.com. Now I join the landlord association. Nyame adoma e besia hia na ya hwehwe nkomo. Me da